Huge Apple leaks before WWDC, and SiriPro is the focus.
Welcome to the All Future Podcast. We're glad you're here. We're talking about things happening in the future, sometimes the distant future, like robots, overlords taking control of everything. Sometimes the very, very near future, like WWDC and what to expect. Lots of stuff on the horizon here, from kind of these SiriPro features to improvements to HomeKit to custom emojis made by AI. So all over the board. Ryan, what's going on here? What are you excited about? What are some of these features?
Well, some of the latest features that are new for us to be hearing about are updates to Control Center coming in iOS 18. We know it's just basically improvements to that and improvements to HomeKit. We don't have much detail beyond that, but always welcomed. I think throw the word improvements in front of an Apple feature, and I'm excited.
An improvement? Oh, cool. Yeah, sounds great.
And then new message app features are supposed to be coming as well in iOS 18. And there's kind of a whole breakdown of everything that's coming. And one of the big ones that's assumed is RCS support. So Apple talked about this a little bit ago, but basically it just makes it a lot friendlier to text an Android device, which Apple is not going to be a fan of. But overall, it's going to be great for everyone because you can finally have a not completely terrible texting experience.
Right. I mean, it's that's what's kind of ironic about it, is that it's actually just as frustrating as an Apple user to text an Android person as it is Android people texting back to Apple users, because Apple not supporting RCS. So the photos get compressed too much. Reactions don't work. These different kind of things that work in modern messaging apps kind of break if you are using just the standard SMS system between Android and iPhone, which is what it's always been. I suspect a lot of this, well, I know, right? This is a part of this is Apple heading off government antitrust stuff. It's specifically one of the things the government called out was lock in because of green bubbles, essentially saying people are stuck to Apple devices because of green bubbles. Apple's already announced this is no surprise it's coming, but cool. A welcome feature, I think, and I think a feature that there's a segment of the population who are going to be very thankful that this is there, and most people aren't even going to notice or care.
Yeah, essentially it brings a lot of iMessage functionality cross-platform, so higher resolution photos and videos, audio messages, typing indicators, read receipts, Wi-Fi messaging, and then improved group chats, which is pretty big. Because right now, if you're doing a group chat and putting it together, and then you add that person that makes it not blue anymore, I mean,
man, I'm sure a lot of people out there have experienced this, right? When you're working with a team, and everyone kind of on those iMessage group threads, it'll have a name or something like that. And the second someone in that group gets an Android, it breaks it. It breaks it. Years ago, I worked for a big tech channel, and they would buy people iPhones when they got hired if they had Android phones, just because they didn't want to deal with iMessage mess up stuff.
Yeah.
So it's that important to some people. I will say a lot of this is I don't want to say too little, too late, but so many people, especially in these kind of team environments, have migrated to something like Telegram or Slack.
Yeah.
Or for non-North American people, WhatsApp, pretty popular. Yeah, so some of these are just oh, cool. It's going to have... I'm glad this is coming, I guess. But I think, like I said, for most people, they have already either moved beyond this or just aren't really going to care.
Yeah, but at least it's coming.
Yeah, cool.
And that should be coming with iOS 18, along with some other messaging things like per word effects is coming, which is interesting. You have all those effects you can do right now if you tap and hold before you send, and it's for a full message. Apparently, you're going to be able to do it for just a specific word. And then there's people also speculating that it might just allow you to bold a word or add italics to a word, which is nice. It's just more refined customization of your messaging.
I will say, I occasionally use a little effects thing to send something to someone, and most of the time when I do it, people are like, whoa, I forgot the phone did that. It's so rare for people to use it. I know the congrats is actually activated automatically, I believe. They'll do the little balloon effect.
Yeah.
So people see that one a lot.
I think confetti is the...
Is it confetti? Yeah, maybe it's the confetti one. Yeah. I like the laser one. I'll just use that randomly. Things that don't even need it. If someone's like, hey, are you going to be on time? And I'll be like, yes, laser effect.
And it haptic vibrates.
That's the thing, right? When people get the message, it vibrates their phone. They're like, what the heck is this? They're like, well, how did you do this? What's going on here? There's also one of the critical mistakes that I made, and that I showed my mom how to do it.
Oh.
So like I think for a month, like anything that could possibly have an effect, she's like sending me. I'm like, Mom, please stop this. Like I don't do like I regret doing that more than I regret showing her emojis. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no, like what is this? But I do like it. I do like anything that gets across emotion and tone over text because so it's so hard to do sometimes. I know for me, because I type incomplete sentences, people think I'm mad at them all the time.
Yep.
So-
I have similar.
Yes.
Or I add haha to everything.
I constantly add ha to stuff because of that. I'm like, oh wait, I use punctuation. People are gonna think I'm mad.
Like, yep, sounds good.
Yeah,
Haha.
yeah.
Exclamation mark. Are
Yeah,
we okay?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
exactly, right? Yeah. So yeah, I yeah. So anything that can help with that, I'm for. So cool. Yeah, I like this. This is another neat feature coming, an improvement, if you will. So yeah, I like that.
Next one is suggested replies. So it's AI generated suggested replies, which is kind of just going to be an improvement of what we already have because it does the word to word replies. But I was playing with it the other day, especially on the Apple Vision, and it just doesn't really get context. Like it's guessing word to word what you're typing based on, but it's like you can determine it based on the context
Right.
way better. So
It's super basic, right?
Yeah.
Like the most advanced things it'll do is something like if people will, when are you getting here? And you can reply with "on my way," you know, or something like that. But yeah, like I mean, we've talked about this a lot. Like if a good AI assistant built into the system that can give these replies is going to be cool and is well within the current level of technology we have. Like
Totally.
a decent LLM is going to be able to do things like pull in from different apps, different kind of information, and give much smarter, better replies to text message in an automated way. And I think that times where this will be really helpful is maybe in the car, you know, anytime you can't actually type. And I guess even just when you are typing, just be able to hit that one little button to send the reply. Pretty cool, especially if it can kind of do it in a natural way and get smarter and smarter to do it in your voice.
Yeah,
almost,
exactly.
right? Like get your kind of, it knows that I only use complete sentences and proper grammar, so it only replies with that. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Absolutely. Next is custom emojis, which have been rumored for a bit, but essentially you can generate it automatically based on what you're typing, a specific emoji that represents your message. And we talked about this last week. They're not going to probably be official emojis because that would kind of be crazy since that's a standardized
That
thing.
would be actually impossible, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's like, oh, I made you to customize emoji in 6 to 8 months. It might get approved by the board, so it can be a real emoji. No, it's really going to be
Like stickers.
It's absolutely going to be
Look like
stickers,
emojis.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
So which is again, like I like anything that can get across emotion and tone in text. I'm not like I don't use emojis very often, but I do appreciate their function in communication and that it's not just silly meme stuff. You can actually like impart how you feel about something to in a non-audio way, which is, you know, what text messaging is. So if we can make customized ones, that's cool. I'm curious as to what exactly this is going to make. Like it's essentially, I guess, going to make its own kind of generative image thing that is in the style of the Apple emojis and can kind of read what you're doing. Like, what's it going to do? Like, it's going to go, oh, if you say like, happy birthday, grandma, it's going to make an old lady emoji with a birthday hat, right? Like, what are the type of things it's going to do?
Yeah.
But yeah, that seems neat. Yeah, cool.
All right, next is message recaps, AI-generated recaps of info from several different apps, including recent messages received in the Messages app. This is interesting to me because I don't know how often I get a text long enough that I'd need a recap, but I could see a recap of like a thread because I end up in group chats where like there's important info that gets buried by jokes.
Yeah. That happens, dude, in our group chat. So we have a chat between me and him and producer Andrew, who hosts a lot. And if I'm whatever, I'm in a movie or something, I'll get out the movie and it'll be like 14 unread messages. And I'll look and it's like, you guys, usually it's like talking about a topic that we're going to talk about and then some jokes about that, then a link about that, then an unrelated thing. So I'm like, Jesus, I just ignore it. I'm like, if it's important, they'll catch me up, right?
What?
So, yeah, you're like, oh my God.
You ignore?
I don't ignore. I ignore Andrew's, not yours. So
Okay, good.
But yeah, that's the exact situation where this kind of summary would be good. I always picture kind of, this is a cliche scene you see in movies, kind of famously in like maybe like The Devil's Wears Prada or something like that, where it's like the mean boss walking through the office and the assistant behind him with like their notepad going through like every message they've got and what's going on, which is kind of a funny way to picture it, but is actually a useful thing, right?
Yeah.
Like having someone go, hey, you got this, this, and this that came in. What do you want to do about it? And you can, so yeah, this is a cool feature, I think.
Upcoming, similar to that kind of, or similar to the emojis, I guess, is new tap back icons. So right now, I think there's only 5, maybe 6 when you press and hold on a message and can just like it or heart it or whatever. So they're going to have more of those, which I'm excited to see. Like there's going to be a haha exclamation mark. I'm used to this kind of in Instagram. You can tap and hold a message, and then you can choose from any emoji.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they'll go that far.
Yeah.
It's just adds a few more options because sometimes it's like, it's a really heartfelt message that you want to heart, but it's like, I'm not saying I like this message.
The heart thing is the weirdest thing. And I will say that it's weird to me when people I have a kind of a professional relationship with heart a message to me. I'm like, that just seems weird to me. It just seems weird. I'm like, what exactly are you saying with this? I never use the heart, ever. I only use the ha-ha. I never do the exclamation point either. Because what does that mean exactly? You know, like I'm like, what? I don't know. Like when people exclamation point something to me, like I've seen it mean everything from this is exciting to, oh no, we should look at this. You know, like it just means like emphasis or something. Like I don't know. Like it's like yeah. So like I agree. Like I'm used to, and in fact, when I do like long press to get those, I'm always like I remember. Oh yeah, there's only these 5 here, and I'm used to every other messaging app basically lets you do any emoji in response.
Yeah.
This seems like that's they need to finesse this system a little bit. I don't know if maybe every emoji is the answer, but at least a few more that give like a more clear cut, hey, this is what this is.
Yeah. Next is some new stickers, and some of these leaked, and it seems like they're all kind of related to Apple stuff. There's an Apple Vision sticker, there's an Apple logo, there's Apple Park. I think that's Swift, and then a 40 years little Mac icon. So I don't know if we're getting more than just these, but these all seem to kind of be related specifically to WWDC.
Yeah, that's exactly what these are, right? These are someone just found this in something, right? That, oh, here's these new stickers. I feel like stickers are probably the thing that I get the least from other people. I don't know what your experience is. It's pretty anecdotal, but like I rarely get a sticker for someone.
Yeah.
I have been playing around with, you can make custom stickers from any photo. And it'll actually do these different sticker effects on them. I don't know if you've ever done this because it'll like outline it like it's a real sticker, or make it kind of like a, holographic kind of 1980s Trapper Keeper sticker looking thing. So I play around with those sometimes. That's another thing when I send it to people, they're like, what? How did you do this?
A lot of people don't know you can pin it to a message.
Yes,
too.
That's the thing that I'll do. I'll bring it up to the message and then like make it huge and make some weird,
completely block out the whole message.
Exactly. Make some dumb, weird, huge sticker.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the hell is this? How did you put this on my phone? Why can't I get rid of it?
Yeah.
But this is another thing that just goes along with the messaging, the better ways to communicate. A lot of apps come with stickers that people don't even know about. Like the Starbucks app has a bunch of stickers that it comes with, right? Like this is just random stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you actually hit that stickers tab, scroll through it and look how many stickers you probably have on your phone you didn't even realize just from apps that have the sticker thing installed. And this is one of those things when it first started, was actually like a decent revenue stream for Apple because people wanted them, and you could buy just sticker packs. There's like a sticker app store. Well, there still is. It's just people don't really use it anymore. You could 99 cents and get this like sticker pack or something. I remember I bought the sticker pack for when The Force Awakens came out. Like I was because it was around that time I think when stickers were new, and it's like, oh, look how cool this is. But yeah, this is one of those things I'm like, cool, but take it or leave it. Neat, I guess.
This next one is an Apple Maps upgrade, which I'm curious, what maps do you use? Do you have CarPlay in your car?
I do.
So you use Apple Maps?
I'm Apple Maps all the time. Maps. I switched from Google Maps years ago at this point because it was in LA. Apple Maps is better. That's what I'll say. For places I go, I think Apple Maps is a better function than Google Maps.
Nice. Definitely wasn't that way at launch.
No, of course there are massive problems with Apple Maps at launch. Like people talk to that all the time.
So I think a lot of people, including myself, didn't even realize it's actually good, and now I see more and more people that I know like send me destinations in Apple Maps, and I think a lot more people are using it now than Google Maps.
I think it is over the last maybe 3 years or something. It's kind of turned the tide. Not only how good it is, but in the popularity of it. People seem to use Apple Maps a lot more. So. Yeah, I guess improvements to Apple Maps sounds good. Why would that would be a bad thing?
One of the things is a custom route feature, which I think is kind of cool. I don't know if I've seen this from other maps providers.
So I love this. I use custom routes well, I say custom routes. I manually build routes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This past fall, I drove around the country for like a month and a half, just like driving around, seeing the middle of America, and I would know where I wanted to get by the end of the day. But I was like, oh, let me hit up other places first. So I'm like, add destination, add it to the thing. Like you're constantly like kind
Yeah.
of like building the route yourself. What I would love is kind of an AI powered version of this, where I say, hey, I want to end up here by 5 o'clock in the evening. I got lots of free time. What are some interesting historical spots I can see along the way?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of does the route. Because what I was doing was going back and forth between like my app that had like historical markers and like my, Route 66 app that showed the interesting stuff and trying to like build the route myself. Which it would have been great to have that like integrate into some kind of smarter feature that did the routing for me. And that I could tell, because I was also trying to stay off the interstate as much as possible.
Yeah.
And even if you tell apps to like avoid highways or toll roads and stuff like that, it still wants to like get you a place quickly, so it almost always default to major highways. And I was having to do that manually. Me being able to just through an AI system tell the map app that, be awesome. I love that.
Yeah. And I think for me, this would be kind of like anytime I navigate home, and I guess that only matters because if I'm using like self-driving, it automatically does the route.
Ryan's car drives itself. He doesn't need any of this.
I just realized this is not a normal use case because you would just know how to get home. Yeah. But, it always tries to take me on this road that has all these dips. We actually went on it the other day.
Oh, yeah. This road's crazy. Yeah. I was like, what is this road?
So I want to always avoid that. And so things like that, if you're just like, I want to specifically take this other road that Apple Maps would never have me take, you're going to be able to customize that, which is pretty cool.
I would love it too. Another thing that I do a lot, and this is like a famous trick that I forgot, like FedEx or UPS does this, where they try to navigate with as much right turns as possible because it's faster than the wind on left turns.
Yeah.
And I live downtown LA, so I would like there are places that if you try to turn left, you are going to be there for forever.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's going to be impossible between the crosswalk and traffic. Like
it only happens once it turns red, and
you got to make the left hand
right?
red turn, and even then. Little dicey in some of those places where the crosswalk is also active and there's a lot of pedestrian traffic. So I would love it if I can tell, like, hey, minimal left-hand turns, blah, blah, because the apps are sometimes like, they'll send you on suicide missions, like having a smarter interface like that, love it.
Mm-hmm. Next is movable icons and changing colors on the home screen. We've talked about this before. Basically something Android has had forever that Apple people are going to freak out about now. We can finally do. But
Apple's revolutionary invention.
Yeah. And then we got everything SiriPro specific. So all of these features are coming iOS 18. I guess the next features, we don't know the timeline. We'll find out at WWDC. But the big thing this week we've heard about is it's going to be able to trigger apps powered by AI. And so it's like kind of a system-wide thing that can actually assist and control different things on your phone, access documents, open individual things, make a note, delete emails or open emails, create emails, all that stuff. And reportedly at launch, it's all going to be Apple apps itself, which does make sense because they're launching this initially with that functionality. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is exactly what we've been talking about here, where when AI systems become useful is when they can execute. And this seems like what Apple is going to build into here, like the ability to tell the assistant, hey, open the email app. What's that most recent email? Cool. Can you forward that to someone? Right. Like these kind of multi-step things. That's what we've been needing. Right. We've been needing the ability for it to actually do something. Right. Not just give me information, but actually let me give you a command. This is somewhat built in already, very loosely using shortcuts. Right. And using HomeKit and things, you can kind of rig up things that kind of do this. They're not really well. It's kind of clumsy to do. It's, I would say, slightly above the average user skill level to set up shortcuts. I mean, it's not impossible, but there's a learning curve there to get it done. So this kind of can circumvent all that, make it smart, make it AI. Also makes it makes a lot of sense that this would be Apple only first because they want it to work and kind of show people how they can do it. And I would say what Apple does a lot, especially at WWDC when it's announcing new features, is they say, hey, here's how we think this can work. And they kind of, it's almost giving the roadmap to the developers. Here's this idea that we came up with on how to execute this and do it in the Apple way. Now you guys start building this into your apps to integrate this instead of just opening up the feature and letting people run with it.
Yeah, I think it will be that kind of staggered rollout where it's in all of Apple's stuff built in, and then we'll see it come from bigger names first, bigger name apps, and then pepper itself down into being able to control all of these different apps as they add the functionality. Kind of an example I see is like Face ID even. Like a lot of my apps now can be logged in automatically through Face ID, but still I get like an update. I open an app that I haven't for a bit and it's like, oh, Face ID is now available. Would you like to set it up? Because it's taken time, which Face ID has been around for a long time on the Apple side. So that kind of thing where in a few months or a few years, we'll finally get it down to every single app we use where we can control it with Siri, which is pretty great.
Yeah, no, I love that. And yeah, and these are all kind of features. I guess this all seems pretty utilitarian or kind of cosmetic, right? Like none of these things on their own make me go, oh, this is a game changer, right? So that's what I think that's the big question mark that I guess we will see in a week or so, right? Is Apple going to come out with something that really wows people here? And if you read this in bullet point format, like we have on our notes here, it's like, oh, yeah, this seems like, to use your word at the beginning, the improvement over what you kind of. None of this seems like the breakthrough kind of level thing. And maybe how they're going to implement it is going to be really exciting. Maybe they're going to present it in a way that gets people more excited about it. But I do worry, and this is a classic thing with every Apple event, is that it's the expectation level and where that needs to be set at for what is Apple going to talk about here.
Yeah.
And the problem is for the last 4 or 5 months, everyone's been like, what's Apple's AI answer? What are these AI features that are going to be in the phone? Like, how are they going to really, show that they're in the game here and looking at this stuff? And if you just read this, it kind of reads just like tweaks to stuff that it can already do, not this watershed kind of moment that I think people want. And yeah, I guess that's what makes this event exciting for people like me and you. They get to just talk about it.
Yeah.
But if you're actually a person who's looking forward to this stuff, I could see maybe there's a chance people are going to walk away disappointed.
Especially if they label them beta features as well. For some reason, even if it should be labeled beta, just that moniker I think is going to turn people away to a certain degree or make them think like, oh, they underdelivered.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's I guess we'll see what happens. We'll be here in this room watching it. So we'll see what goes down. But I think it's going to, if these are the features, which I love all these, and I think these are great, and I think these are good updates to the current iOS. But I think they're going to need to at least be a little more flashy with it, to show something a little more impressive than how it looks on paper to get people really excited.
Definitely.